Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rahman Abidin and I'm a postgraduate student of IAIN Salatiga from English Department. My student number is 120502010005. In this occasion, I will explain about the systematic functional of linguistic. According to Halliday, systematic functional linguistic is a theory of language which highlights the relationship between language, text, and its context. Its scope is wide to explain how humans make meaning through language and other semantic research, and to understand the relationships between language and society. In my opinion about the halliday video in YouTube, most of the explanation of halliday talk about history of meaning, and it's explained about the language function in social life. It means that the language has a meaning to communicate each other. Especially in this modern era, we can use the internet to develop our language in multimedia in recent days. According to Halliday, the evolution of meaning potential of language make this something sensible and useful to explore, that can track the outline history of meaning in the children. As their language develops, children progress from a non-referring proto-language to referential language. It's called adult sense, means it post-infancy sense. Then almost at once they progress proper to a common reference, that is from individual reference, concept to abstract reference, from the sensible to imaginable. This series of developmental steps referring, then generalizing, then abstracting, and then metaphorizing. This rocking matched in the progression of the context in which meaning are exchanged, because these contexts are the social institution. We can read about innovation in writing practice, and also about code switching and code mixing, multimodal and multimedia discourse all. Meaning are now often packaged at a succession to accommodate the reduced space on a small screen and the reduced attention span of today's into interaction. Now, this means its curious consequence of this. It means that both interpersonal and textual meaning lies to the subtitle of the foreign language in the foreign movie. So we can understand what is the content of the movie and what the language that will be translated into our language. In narrative, we find generalized proportion and proposal telling what happens. There are central feature is that they construct knowledge as generalization. The grammar detaches them from particular persons, and even so making it clear that they contain a principle that is generally applicable. Now, proverbs were the traditional repository of common sense of knowledge. In the situation of daily life, proverbs construct knowledge in small isolated thoughts. They don't combine to build up any larger patterns. Narrative can do this, and story can have place in broader compendium of knowledge-oriented texts. We can see meaning potential as a function of what people were able to understand. Where many of the story dweller is from the town of dwellers in England. In England, there are many dramas, and the audience of drama were from town dwellers. The stories were drawn, of course, from familiar epics and legends. Semantic variation can be studied by observing and analyzing large-scale quantitative pattern of natural linguistic interaction in clearly delimited population of speakers. So it means that the history of meaning is very important for us to learn about it, to know about it, and to research about it, so we can understand how is the language developed and how we can understand about the linguistic especially for systematic function of linguistic. I think this is all for me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.